The Tzeltal Mayans are part of the Mayan group in Mexico. So the Mayans are like a big umbrella, and the Tzeltals are just an Indian group of it. They're a North American Indian group, and they're located in the central highlands of the Mexican state of Chiapas. Agricultural is their basic economic activity, so they'll grow corn, beans, squash, and chili peppers is the most important. But they also grow other crops including wheat, sweet potatoes, cotton, some fruits, other vegetables, and also coffee. They raise livestock, and they raise pigs, donkeys, and cattle. And whenever they have a surplus of crops and their livestock, they'll take it to local markets and trade with other communities.
The Tzeltal social organization is through patrilineal descent, which means that the land is inherited through the male line. The Tzeltal families consist of nuclear families, which mean one mother, one father, and the children. Tzeltal marriages are regulated by the clans. There is no special ceremony, just the elder of the clan and the parents there to recognize the marriage. The Tzeltal are monogamous, which means they only have one spouse at a time. If the marriage does not work out between the couple, the wife would have to leave her house and return to her mother and father's home. Only if the wife is widowed and has a son, she may stay in the house. Today, the more Catholic marriages ceremonies take place within the Tzeltal culture. The Tzeltal religious system is a blend of Catholic and indigenous elements. Annual ceremonies are held in honor of particular saints. Shamanism and witchcraft are practiced also in the Tzeltal culture.
The Tzeltal were skilled at working with both stone and wood. Their stonework was mainly centered around the production of metates, or mortars, used to process grain and seeds. Most metates had 3 legs, but some were rectangle-shaped with 4 legs. Though a metate's main use is grinding grain, the Tzeltal believed that the transformation of grain into flour had symbolic implications relating to life, death, and rebirth. Ceremonial metates were created, sometimes with artwork along the edges, and buried with members of society, suggesting different social statuses. While stonework involving ceremonial metates was skilled work, woodworking was done at a very basic level. Some of the products of woodworking were doors, tables, chairs, shelves, benches, pipes, and combs. Some of their more skilled workers were put into use in the production of violins, which resemble those made in Europe, with slightly less quality. Woodworking was done solely by Tzeltal men. Almost all men smoked tobacco, so pipes were made with different quality. This was all done using the most basic of tools.
In the Tzeltal Mayan culture, a prominent art form is pottery. Pottery is mainly produced by the Tzeltal women and is the most widespread handicraft produced in the Tzeltal area of Chiapas. Tzeltal vessels are divided into recognizable classes based on the general form of the vessel. The different classes include plates, dishes, bowls, jars, vases, and cups. The basic unit of pottery production among the Tzeltal is in the household. The intensity of production in the Tzeltal pottery household, which led to the level of specialization, was determined by the economic needs of the residents. There are 3 levels of pottery production that can be applied to the Tzeltal potters. These levels are domestic, elementary specialization, and artisan specialization. Domestic scale pottery production was characterized by low frequency of pottery making events, the production of small quantities of a few vessel forms, and local consumption of the finished products. The goal of the potter at the domestic level of production was to complete the household inventory by replacing vessels broken during the previous year and by adding vessels if the household had grown in size. Tzeltal elementary specialists were generally women who were forced to contribute to the household economy by producing beyond the requirements of the immediate family. Elementary specialists might sell or barter surplus vessels to other members of the community, or they might make specialized vessel forms on commission for local religious festivals. Pottery making events occurred more frequently, seasonally, or on a year-round basis, in a few cases, and larger quantities of vessels were produced. The artisan specialists were even more dependent upon non-subsistence sources for their livelihood. They often had inadequate farmland and were forced to sell crafts or work as field laborers. Artisan households generally produced pottery on a year-round basis, and they produced a large variety of vessels, forms that demonstrated pottery of more uniform shapes, sizes, and decorations. Middlemen played an important role at this level of production. They would purchase from the potter and then resell the vessels in local or regional markets. The assembly of a clay vessel began by the collection of clay and calcite from the nearest known source. After the collection of clay and calcite, the potter would grind the calcite with a damaged or broken mano and mieta on their household patio. The ground calcite was then mixed into the clay by kneading the two mediums together. The potters would then remove their desired amount of clay from their larger source and form a flat disc-shaped base. Upon the base, coils were added until they reached their desired height. The next step in the formation of a functional vessel is allowing the vessel time to dry before firing, the final process in pottery production. Other forms of art produced by the Tzeltal include basketry, weaving, woodworking, and work in stone.
Ever since the start of the Mayans, weaving has always been part of their culture, and it has passed down to the Tzeltals today. So today, women always master in weaving, and it's their main role in their life, such as like how Americans drink coffee every day. It's what the women do. They weave every day of their life. It's become an important role, and it symbolizes their culture. For example, women wear traditional clothing called the wupol, and it's like a loose blouse, and it consists of colors and designs, such as geometric designs, and other images that resemble the earth and nature and the sky. Since the wupol is what women mainly wear, it determines their identity. So whatever they design on the wupol determines who they are, what they like, and also symbolizes what clan or village they come from. Since weaving is such an important role in the women's life, when a mother has a baby and it's a daughter, she'll spend 3 weeks with it, and then after that 3 weeks, she's basically old enough to get her own instruments. So the mother will give her miniature size like scissors, threads, and all the instruments to weave and hand them over, and which is symbolic because it's like passing down the weaving skills from your mother, the grandmother, and the great-grandmother.